Hello and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you're new, I'm Corie. Welcome to my channel. If you are returning, thank you as always for being here. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful holiday. And let's go ahead and get right on into the crafting. DIY number one. All right, I have these hurricane vases. They literally are called hurricane vases from the Dollar Tree. And then I have a couple of these candle holders that I'm flipping upside down and I'm going to hot glue. Now, I'm hot gluing these. If you want a permanent hold or something that is not going to fall apart even while you're making the project, I highly recommend using your E6000 or your Gorilla Glue or something like that. I'm using my hot glue because I want to be able to put this together pretty quickly. And I didn't want to have to wait for it to dry, but you're probably going to see that it does, it does not hold very well. But in the meantime, I am using these garland ties, also from the Dollar Tree. I'm just twisting it around the seam where my two glass pieces came together. And this is really just to camouflage the fact that I've got two different pieces going on here. And they are a little bit longer than what I need for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the ends. Now, I probably could have done it in such a way that I only had to trim one end, but anyway. Now I am taking some berries off of this berry garland. This came in a grab box from Michael's. So it was part of one of those $5 boxes. And I'm just going to pull apart the little pieces that I need. And I'm kind of curling them around. So it's making a little, I don't know, cluster of berries there. And now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. Pulling out some ribbon from my stash. This is also from the Dollar Tree. I considered just tying it in a cute little bow and then decided that I was going to create the bow instead. So I am just measuring it off for around the top of the vase here where it gets to the skinny part. And I'm going to go ahead and just hot glue this a little bit to help me get it tight. So just a little dab of hot glue there, putting the ribbon down. Now, reminder, hot glue doesn't stick real well to glass. So if I ever want to take this off, it'll be really easy to do that, right? So just put another dab down so that that's nice and secure. And then I'm going to create a little loop bow to go over that seam. So I thought about how I was going to do this, and I finally determined, and I was limited on the amount of ribbon I had here, so I was having to be judicious with it. So trying to figure out the best way to do these bows with using the least amount of ribbon, because there was just barely enough on my little roll for making both of these. So I had just basically created a loop, and now I've got another little piece that I glued to the back of it. I'm going to flip that around, and that's going to be the little tie part, the knot part of my bow, and hot gluing that down as well, and just making sure that everything is lined up and not twisted funny. And then I'll go ahead and glue that to the front of my piece. I'm just trimming off the little tails here, cutting these at an angle. A lot of times I like to dovetail my bows, but in this instance, I decided I just wanted it to be just a diagonal cut, so to speak, and that'll keep the ribbon from fraying as well. And then I did the exact same thing for the other side and just gluing that on the seam. These are so cute, you guys. I love them. So now I'm just taking some white sand that I had in my stash. I figured it would look like snow, and dropping that in. And then I had grabbed a couple of little candlesticks from my stash, my personal candle burning stash. I thought these would work, but they were a little too tall. So I opted not to do the real candles, and I went in and grabbed my little rechargeable candles. These are fantastic. I love them. The one needs to be recharged, so I went ahead and grabbed a different one and just dropping these in here, and these are done and so sweet. But let me know what you think. DIY number 2. All right, so I have another piece from the Dollar Tree. This always reminds me of a little milk carafe. I don't know if that's what it is or if it's like a little wine carafe, but I'm giving it one really nice, good, thick coat of my Adirondack white chalk paint. And I opted to do that because when I try to do multiple coats on glass, I have a hard time with it sticking. So that was the way I went with this piece. And now I have a couple of markers in my stash. These were actually given to me, so I don't know where they came from, but I love these markers. And I've got it in a cranberry color and then a nice green color. It's kind of like a mossy green, but I'm just using a very simple font, hand lettering font, and I am writing in Merry Christmas. Now, this is inspired by something that I've seen online for a couple of years now. I wanted to do them last Christmas, but then I saw that Holly from Hot Humble Pie had done them on her channel, and then I felt weird about doing them. But I keep seeing them, and they really speak to me, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and recreate my version of this. Now, I totally encourage you to go and check out Holly's version of it, because what she did was absolutely gorgeous. And hers is much closer to the original, so the inspiration. Mine is a little bit more whimsical, I guess you could say, or it's less perfect, let's put it that way. But I went through and just added all of the little greenery pieces, and once I had that all set, I'm going to come back in with my cranberry and put some little berries at the tips of most of the little greenery. What would you call them? Branches? I guess they're branches, but I left some of them green as if the berries hadn't yet ripened, because in some instances, for whatever reason, I had like little globs at the end of my green. I don't know, it must be the way that I had used the marker. But once I had that done, I grabbed my jute cord and I wrapped that around 3 times. I knew I wanted something around the neck of this to decorate it up. And so I twisted it around to get it to where I wanted it. And I'm going to tie off the little bow here. And then as I was doing this, though, I'm like, it just wasn't quite sitting right with me. It wasn't exactly how I wanted it to look. And I realized I have a baker's twine in my stash that is a twine color mixed with white. And I thought that this might be a little bit better for the look I was going for. I like this so much better. It's a softer look. It's a narrower, not as thick twine. So I just thought it was going to work out a little bit better. And then I just kind of twirled the ends to make sure that it wasn't coming unfurled and tied a little just basic knot at the end of each of my tails so that it wouldn't unravel on me. So once I had that done, I went ahead into my stash again and grabbed out this pick with all of these little pine cones on it. This is something I've had for several years now. I had picked it up from the Hobby Lobby and just never got around to using it. And then I had some greenery that I had pulled off of another project. It was something that was damaged, but in my grab box from Michael's. And so I've been kind of using some of the greenery out of there, but it just wasn't sitting. Again, it wasn't speaking to me. I didn't like the way it looked. It was like a little bit too big, or it wasn't, it was too rigid or something. I don't know. You guys know I'm very visual. I have to see things, and I won't commit until I see it, and I wasn't going to commit to that piece. So I went ahead and grabbed another pine cone. I'm adding that in, just twisting the little wires around my little baker's twine to secure them. And I thought I might add some berries, but as I pulled that out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it in the bottle and make a little arrangement. So I dropped in my berry picks, and then I grabbed one of my boxwood picks. And this is a rare moment when I don't cut it up. I just kind of spread it out and tucked it all in together. And that was it. And I love this piece so much, but let me know what you think. DIY number 3. All right, this is a cube that I've had in my stash for some time, along with a little snowflake garland from the Dollar Tree. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and clean out this cube. I don't recall where I got it from. I've had it for years, but I went ahead and pulled apart this little garland because I'm going to be using the snowflakes around the glass cube, and the best way to piece these together on there is going to be to detach them, because the cube is just a little too small for me to leave them attached. But first, I'm going to use this icy blue color that I had created a while back. It's just maybe a few videos ago during my minis challenge. I think it was in the month of October. But it's just this icy blue color that started with crystal chalk paint, and I added some ocean chalk paint to it and got this color. And now I also have these little icy, they're like little fake faux diamonds, and I'm going to drop one of these into the middle of each of my snowflakes just to dress them up a little bit. I'm using just a dab of hot glue and pressing them down into the middle. And now I am taking my school glue and I'm going to attach my snowflakes to my glass cube. Now, in a minute, you're going to see me pulling them off and using hot glue because I just wasn't patient. I do recommend the school glue or E6000 or something of that nature versus hot glue, because the hot glue, if you use a real candle in here, and I end up switching what I'm doing altogether, so I don't end up using a real candle in this, but if you want to do something like this and use a real candle, you don't want to use hot glue because the candle will end up warming up your vase and it will heat up your hot glue and your project will melt and fall apart, right? So definitely want to use the school glue, which will dry clear, or some other clear glue like the E6000 or Gorilla Glue or something of that nature, if you choose to use a real candle in your project. So you're going to see that they kept just popping off of here a little bit because the sides of the glass cube are not perfectly straight. They're a little concave. And so they just, like I said, I just wasn't being patient. So I wiped it off and I ended up using hot glue on it to just get everything to stay. And again, for a long-term permanent bond, you're going to want to use the Gorilla Glue or something like that. I'm using more of my little faux diamonds. I dropped a whole bunch of them in, put in a little tea light, electronic tea light, and then I'm covering it with more of the little faux diamonds. I'm thinking ice, right? So I've got my snowflakes and my ice, but let me know what you think of this one. And now it's time for a shout out timeout. Wow, Amanda made such a beautiful project. She was busy this fall. And great Valerie, these wonderful gifts she's made for her family. And Super Rose, you know I love snowmen. I am a sucker for snowmen. And beautiful Donna, this is lovely. And Donna is the Crayola Crafter here on YouTube if you want to check her out. But I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, just send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. And I apologize if you hear music in the background. Rich is listening to it upstairs. So at any rate, this last project, I don't know if you can even call this a craft, you guys, but I wanted a way to be able to use these wall decals without putting them directly on the wall and being able to move it and take it down and use it again next year. So I went ahead and grabbed a large canvas that I had picked up. I had gotten a whole pack from Amazon. and a whole bunch of different sizes. And this was the largest size. I think it's a 20 by 20. And I'm cutting all of these pieces apart because I want to be able to see if it will fit inside the frame. Because a lot of times you'll see me take the canvas off the frame and flip it to the other side. And so I have the wood frame that I can use to frame the picture, right? Well, I wanted to see if that was going to work. I knew it was going to be really tight if it was going to work. And ultimately, I decided it was just too tight a fit and it just wasn't going to look right. So I decided I was going to just flip the canvas over and I'm going to put these right onto the canvas itself. So there's no removing the canvas. I didn't even paint the canvas, although if I had to do it again, I probably would have just given it a coat of white paint because I think that it would have helped the decals to stick a little bit better. Had I do it again also, I probably would have gone over it with a coat of Mod Podge, and I'll explain that in a minute. But right now I am just removing the stick from the back of the stick. I'm removing the paper from the back of these. These are all sticky. So I'm laying them down and just applying them where I want them. Because they are decals, even if I press them down, I can peel them back up again if I'm not happy with the placement. So y'all know me because I'm visual and I don't have to commit, not fully. So I'm just going ahead and making sure that I've got everything where I want it. I'm getting all of the bubbles out, making sure that it's laying flat on the canvas and just placing things as I would like them. I figured, maybe I could use my heat gun a little bit to get it to lay a little bit flatter because these were a little curled up. And these came from my sweet subscriber, Rose, by the way, in a stash that she had sent me. So thank you, Rose, for this. I think it is super cute and really pretty. I'm just going to go ahead and finish laying out my words. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I really appreciate the support more than I can even tell you. So thank you so much for watching and for all of your comments. It really makes my day when I see new comments on the videos and knowing that I've inspired someone. So thank you for that. But if I had to do it again, like I said, I would go over this with a coat of Mod Podge. It would help seal these in and then also ensure a consistent sheen. So while these are relatively matte, which is why I was thinking I could probably leave them as they were, they're not super shiny. They're still a little bit shinier than the matte canvas that they are being adhered to. So you'll see in the reveal picture in just a moment that you can actually see kind of a shimmer on them. So using a coat of Mod Podge would make that a little bit less apparent. But here it is, and let me know what you think of this one. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the projects. If you did, remember to give me a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know which one you enjoyed the most. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing that. Hit that little subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Take good care. Bye.